Are you living a life of authenticity, or are you wearing a mask in order to fit in? Are you embodying the person that you know you are, or are you embodying the person that you think you are? Oftentimes, we're born into certain situations and we learn behavior. We take on this conditioning of our surroundings, but this isn't who we truly are. It's time to escape that falsehood and awaken to our truth. My name is Angela Cleary. I'm a feminine empowerment coach. I specialize in healing after narcissistic abuse, and I also offer twin flame and spiritual guidance. This is the thing. We keep using the words, I was born this way. You were not born you were born as a spiritual being, a clean slate, an unconditioning, loving person. You were not born the way you think you were born. You learned behavior from your parents, from your surroundings, from society. You were conditioned. The way we were born was actually with knowledge of our spiritual abilities, with knowledge of the fact that we've had numerous lifetimes, knowledge of starseed planets. This is the way you were born. When we keep saying, I was born with inherited anger issues, I was born into a fiery family, so therefore I'm a fiery person. I was born this way. No, you weren't. You were conditioned this way. This is what it is. You learned that behavior. You were born an unconditionally loving human being. And it was your toxic fucking generational curses and conditioning that has led you to think you were born another way. This is learned behavior. This is not who you are. And this is the thing. We're born a clean state. We're born unconditionally loving. That's the way you were born. That's who you truly are. And it was your parents' belief system, the societal belief system, your community's belief system that made you conditioned into who you think you are, not who you know you are. And this is why we're fucking here. We're here to escape that. We put on a persona, a personality, in order to fit into our surroundings. We literally put on a mask. So in order to be accepted by the fucking world. We don't want to be accepted by the world. We're here to change things. This is the thing. We are not who we think we are. And we're far from it. And when we start to awaken to the truth, it's like mind-blowing. Because you literally have been lied to your whole entire life. Actually, no, your whole entire lifetimes you have been lied to. And we're here to change that. We're here to shed that mask and literally figure out who we really are and not who we think we are. So this is it. Are you living in authenticity? Are you living in your true self? Do you know who you are? Because if you're still living in the matrix, if you're still living in that conditioned mentality, then you have no fucking idea who you really are because you've forgotten. You have completely forgotten. And this is it. This is scary. I know this is scary. When we start to awaken to the truth, you literally are like everything you've ever known in this lifetime goes to fucking shit. You know, the people around you, you start looking at them differently. You're like, are these really my people? Are the things they're doing really in alignment with my soul? Because when you start to reconnect with your soul, because this is the thing, society disconnects you from your soul. Society tells you that spirituality is crazy. That you have to follow a fucking religion. Religion puts fear in the fucking people. Religion controls. You know what I mean? And we're told our whole lives, this is the way we are. This is the way we're supposed to be. Look at the stuff that we've learned. Look at the stuff that we've been conditioned to believe. It's fucking toxic. It is really actually toxic. When you start to realize who you really are, you look around you and you realize your surroundings are fucking toxic. Now, I'm sorry. I hate saying that our parents were toxic, but technically our parents, our grandparents, and so on and so forth were fucking toxic. I'm sorry, but they are. Their beliefs were conditioned. Like, this is learned behavior. You know what I mean? I'm not saying these are bad people. I'm not saying the people in your surroundings are bad people. I'm saying that their inherited belief system is fucking toxic. our inherited belief system was toxic. You know what I mean? When you look around, you start to see everyone around you is bitching about everyone else. Everyone around you is in competition. Everyone around you is believing that you have to do things a certain way or you're doing fucking wrong. Get married before you're 30. Marry the farmer down the road. Live in a house beside your mother. This is your happy ever after. No, it's not. This is not who you are. Like, you know you're going through a spiritual awakening when your whole life goes to shit. Because literally everything that you thought you wanted, going to college, getting that job, in the relationship, finding the house, all this crap is what you think is going to make you happy, goes to shit. Because that relationship was actually toxic. That job was actually toxic. Everything you were doing was actually fucking toxic. Do you know what I mean? It was so out of alignment with who you truly are. You were putting on a mask and following a route that was so out of alignment with your fucking soul. And this is why when you start to question everything, when everything you thought you wanted blows up, there's a hand grenade thrown in because you didn't listen to the nudges of your soul, enough from the universe, and you start to kind of go, why did everything I ever wanted get taken away? And you realize, hey, maybe I didn't fucking want that in the first place. Maybe that wasn't actually for me. And that's when you start to question everything. Every little thing. You know, I started questioning things when I was very young. You know, when I was 14, I started questioning religion and stuff. So, you know, I was very open-minded. And, you know, I was always into psychics and mediums and all that kind of stuff. But I was disconnected from that because of another toxic relationship. But, you know, when you're breaking out of that because of trauma and because of more abuse or more of whatever, you start to realize this is not for me. There has to be more to life. And this is it. There is more to life than the same shit, different fucking day. There's more to life than living a life filled with anxiety and depression. Anxiety and depression and mental health issues are actually your soul trying to scream at you to tell you you're living a life that is not for you. You're living a life that is absolutely inauthentic. That is not true. And this is it. If you're unhappy in that relationship, if you're unhappy surrounded by these people, if you're unhappy in that job and waking up every day depressed, guess what? That is not your fucking life. That's not supposed to be your life. You can change that in an instant if you take off the fucking mask, if you heal your wounds, and if you actually dig deep to see who you truly are, to remember who you truly are. This is it. We're remembering the truth. You were born as a spiritual being, an unconditional and loving spiritual being. Not born toxic, not born with anger issues, not born unloving or unlovable, unworthy. You know what I mean? Think of it this way. There's a little baby, a tiny little baby who can't do anything for itself. And there's a soul inside that baby who remembers loads of things. And then the people around that baby is like, you can't be spiritual. You have to do it this way. You can't cry. You know, you have to be, you know, seen and not heard. You know, that child is going to grow up feeling unworthy. That child is going to inherit anger issues. That child is going to inherit toxic behaviors, as we all fucking did. You know, and if you want to sit there and say that you don't have toxic traits, you know, before you heal. I had toxic traits. I had toxic masculine fucking traits. I had inner misogyny. I had a lot of toxic traits. I had anger issues that I'm still fucking working on. You know, and I was like, I was born into an angry family. No! Doesn't matter. It is learned behavior. We can unlearn it. We have to take off that conditioning. We have to go dig deep and get under those layers of conditioning, all under those layers of trauma, that pain. Come on, that's what we're doing. That's what we're here for. We're here to remember who we truly are, which is a spiritual being living a human experience. We're not here to be a slave to the fucking system. We're not here to be sheeps that follow the fucking crowd. We're not here to be like everyone else. Jesus, this is why we're at such dis-ease within ourselves. Why we suffer from anxiety and depression, because we're not living authentically. We're living a life that we've been told to fucking live. You go to school. You're like, no, you're born. You're told what to do. You're told everything, what not to do. Don't cry. Don't speak. Don't fucking do anything because you're doing it fucking wrong. Go to school, wear a uniform, be a slave. Go to church, be a fucking slave. Jesus, do the corporate job, climb the ladder, be a fucking slave. No! Literally, here, do it, everything this way. Do everything before you're 30 or you're doing it fucking wrong. The life expectancy of the human race is actually a lot fucking bigger than it used to be. But it was also a lot bigger before it was condensed into fucking dying at 30. You know, it was society, you know, who created fucking disease. It was society who created a lower fucking life expectancy because they put fear into the fucking people. We can live for hundreds of years if we live within our true authenticity, if we live within our souls, if we meditate, if we do holistic therapy, if we actually look after ourselves instead of living in fear. Fear equals stress. Stress equals disease. This is why we're sick. You know, this is why we have mental health issues. Because we're not following our souls. We're not doing the work that we need to do. We're not, you know, digging deep under those layers of trauma and getting rid of that trauma. We're just thinking that, oh, this is the way it is. It's not the fucking way it is. You learned this behavior. You know what I mean? This trauma can be released. You can live in a pure, authentic, happy, you know, fulfilling life. You know what I mean? Like, so ask yourself, are you living a life of fulfillment? Are you living your truth? Or are you walking on eggshells around everyone around you because you're afraid of what they want to think of you? Are you afraid to own your differences? Own your individuality, your uniqueness, because it's so different to everyone around you? This is a good thing. You don't want to be a sheep following the other sheep off the fucking cliff, because that's effectively what this world is fucking doing. They're literally blindly walking themselves off a fucking cliff. How about turning direction and walking your own way? Because that's the way you're going to get to happiness. That's the way you get to the truth of who you really are, not who you think you are. And this is it. We become a different version of ourselves every time we grow, because we're shedding more and more layers as we evolve, as we remember who we really are. And this is it. You know what I mean? Look around you. And I remember this, you know, it's hard, okay? I know it's hard. I know it is. It's hard when everything you ever believed in goes to fucking shit and you question everything. But look around you. And this is when you're going to know. You're going to know. The people, the things that once brought you joy when you were in the mask. You're looking around now and it makes your heart hurt. It makes you feel this uneasiness. How they speak about people, how they speak about themselves, this negative, toxic, low vibrational energy. And that's all it is. They're all talking negatively. They're all speaking badly of themselves and others. They're all, you know, concentrating on what could go wrong, on fear, on lack, on greed. That's when you know that you don't belong there anymore. You know that there's more to this life. You know what I mean? And it gives you the ick. It gives you the fucking ick. Like, you were once in that crowd. You were once saying yes when they were bitching. We all were. We weren't all pure at one stage because we learned a lot of shit. We learned a lot of toxicity. We did. You know, I wasn't always a good person. I was surrounded by bad people and sometimes I was a bad person. And, I'm not proud of that. You know, I was watching Moon Knight and, like, you know, this guy is trying to take everyone's souls, you know, if they've done something wrong. You know, I was kind of going like, Jesus, you know, would I be in the category of still, you know, because they've done something in my past, you know, would I still be in the category of a bad soul? Or because I've atoned and changed my behaviour, would I be in the category of a good soul? And I believe that once we realise our mistakes, once we unlearn that behaviour, once we purify ourselves with good behaviour and living in truth, then we are effectively good souls, so that we deserve the best or whatever. Do you know what I mean? What I'm saying is, like, we have that ability to change. We have that ability to shed those layers. We have that ability to choose a life of authenticity. We have the ability to choose not to partake in low vibrational negative conversations. We have the ability to choose not to gossip, not to be bad to others. You know, and I've always tried to be a good person, but I've sometimes not been, and I admit that, like. But that was because I was in a conditioned reality, and I was surrounded by very, very low vibration energy, very negative energy. And I've purified that now, and I do not, like, if somebody speaks negatively, I stop listening or I walk away. And I do not know, and I no longer associate with those people, and I block them. If there's any kind of negativity around my social media, I would block those people, because these are the people that are trying to bring us back down into that reality. We have to wake up to that truth. Realize who we really are. Because you are not the person you thought you were. Like old Angela, she wasn't who I really am. You know what I mean? I'm grateful for her, for that part of myself, but she was never who I really was. And don't get me wrong, when I started to evolve into my true self, I thought this version of me was the alien. And I was like, oh no, ew, no. And now I'm looking back at my old self going, no. She drank, she smoked, she did all the wrong things. No. She was filled with regret. She was filled with pain. She was filled with trauma. She was filled with low vibrational energy, inauthenticity. And now I'm living in my pure self. I'm living in my truth. I'm living in my authenticity. I've shed all that conditioning, and this is who I really am. Like, and I always had a pure heart. I always had a pure soul. She was always in there. I was always in there. But with all that conditioning and all that shitty energy around me, I learned a lot of bad behavior. I learned a lot of toxic behavior. But that isn't who I was. That's who I thought I was. And that's the thing when we're evolving. We're like, oh no, I've always been this way. I can't change. I've always been this way. That was learned behavior. So in other words, you change from pure into not so pure. So why can't you change back into pure? Because what you're doing is changing back into pure. Not changing into something that you're not. You actually change from something you were into something you weren't. And now you're shedding the what you're not into what you are. So if you think you can change, you're actually effectively saying that you won't. Because of course you can. You're only changing back into who you truly are. So ask yourself this. Who do you think you are? Because that isn't who you really are. Or do you really know who you are? Because knowing who you are is knowing your true self. So thank you so much for listening today, and I really hope this resonates. If it does, please like and share, and please subscribe to my channel so I can reach as many people as possible. And if you would like help on your journey, please book me for a discovery call today, and I would love nothing more than to help you on your path.